Welcome to Choose Greater Health with Paige Spears.
Thank you, Emily. I'm here today with Norberto, and you can go ahead and introduce yourself and tell our audience a little about you and what you do.
Absolutely. So, hi guys, my name is Norberto Troncoso Jr. I am a mindset and communication strategist, and my goal is to be able to pour into students, educators, leaders, so that they can be people that speak with power and do it scared. I am a stage 3 brain cancer survivor. I am a resident of the Bronx in New York, and I travel around the country to empower individuals. So, it's my jam, and I love it.
That sounds great. And I was also on my Seminole Spirit Brain Injury Support Group meeting today and earlier, and it's a speech language focused group. And we were discussing a lot about SMART goals for the new year. And so we're going to work on supporting each other in that. And have you done much in your world with goal setting, and what do you do to get ready for the new year?
So, I think the good thing is, I think we have to really like lay it all out. I'm a visual learner, and I know a lot of my clients and my peers are as well. So I typically like do voice memos throughout the year. Like I'll do a recap of how my day was, and I do that. How did I feel at work? How did I feel about myself? How did I feel about how I added value to people? And at the end of each week, I like transcribe it and I feed it to like ChatGPT or I feed it to like another platform, and I'm like, okay, talk to me about these things. What do I want as goals? And am I achieving them, or am I on track? So at the end of the year, I take the entire year because I do these recordings. Like I do like 3 5 minute voice memos once a day, and then I have like a recap of the week of how I felt about like financial, how did I feel emotional, how did I feel spiritual, how did I feel occupationally. And I go through the entire year. I put into like this like mega doc. I just copy and paste a bunch. And I just put it in there. And it just tells me, it just breaks things down. And then I ask it to explain it to me like I'm 5. I want you to break this down very simply. Like obviously we know like the high level, all the jargon, but also talk to me like if I was 5 years old, how would you explain this to me? What is my glow, my grow, and the what to do I need for the next year? So it just helps with like organization because I can be very scattered all over the place.
That's really interesting. And had you noticed in your cancer journey that the resources you got were adequate to the situation, or did you need more additional support?
I, in my cancer journey, it's been very fruitful. I used to have an app that I used to kind of like train my brain again because I would forget things a lot. And I still do to a certain extent, but what helps me is like I have reminders. I have this app called Things 3. Like I have a lot of productivity type apps that help me out. And that paired with like the way I do with ChatGPT and the AI assistant thing I made, it essentially helps me kind of navigate through all of those things. So it has helped me out with those resources and it makes life a lot easier than if I didn't have them.
Yeah, I had oxygen deprivation brain injury from blood clots in my lungs about almost 10 years ago when I was 32. And I'm thinking that that came from 12 years of taking anti-anxiety medications and combo hormonal birth control. And none of my doctors were really aware of the potential for side effects in that regard. Plus, I had a scattered care team between two states, and the providers didn't communicate or couldn't very well. So that complicated things too. And I'm thinking that the anxiety came from about 5 years of taking doxycycline prescribed by a family doctor for acne. And I've since learned a lot about causes of things and the microbiome influence on neurochemical processes. And I used 8 months of twice weekly neurofeedback sessions in my first year post injury to set a good foundation for better nutrition and custom supplementation to pick up. And that together put my anxiety into permanent remission.
Oh, that's good.
Hmm.
And I love that you essentially took like I have to be able to like manage myself and take ownership of this. Like I've got to do my best and it's working out.
Yeah, self-advocacy has been a big part of my recovery journey and always looking for additional resources and what else is available.
Of course.
Mhm. Did you have to have any surgeries for your cancer?
Yes, I had really three, two main ones and then one that was I guess it's a biopsy. I wouldn't really know, but it was to kind of drain fluids because there was a lot of clogging. And then the first one was kind of botched. So I actually ended up dying on the table for about 11 minutes. And they hit a nerve, a whole bunch of things, but I was able to go through coma and all of those things and was told I need to go through rehab in order to be strong enough to do the next surgery. And that's the next one that I had. That was January 2019. So just about 7 years ago when all this stuff went down. Um, but yes, surgeries were definitely part of that as well as like all of like the radiation and chemo they gave me.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, I had grandparents on both sides of my family, or at least in my mom's side, die of glioblastomas in their 80s.
You said in their 80s they
Yeah, they were in their 80s and they died from glioblastomas.
oh my. I don't know why my brain just can't fathom sometimes older people having cancer come that late. That's wow.
Hmm. So brain cancer in general is not very well understood, would you say?
Yeah. I definitely thought I was impervious to this because I don't get migraines. So when that started to become a conversation around me, I'm like, no, no, not a thing. But I even see a lot of people like falling, like having those situations come up. Brain cancer, as it relates to like even like aneurysms, like cognitive, like it's a lot that people don't understand. They become uninformed, then they're misinformed. And because they're misinformed, it's because they truly believe it can't happen to me, or it's not possible. It's not as
So there's a denial
frequent.
piece.
Yes. And then it does happen, and then it's like, oh wow. And they don't really know sometimes what to do. I didn't really know how to move because you feel like, okay, life is going well and you're moving day by day, and then this happens, and then everything has to stop. Like everything has to be something that, goes the way that it does, and it's something that is like I would have never expected it. Um, and no one does. So I would argue, I would agree with you that no one really understands how this works like the way that they should.
Had you ever come across integrative oncology or nutrition-based cancer therapy?
No,
Hmm.
I I have not.
In my research on brain health and health in general, I've seen summits and things about it, and it's apparently a thing.
So what specifically what do they do?
There are nutrition protocols that target cancer and presumably works in conjunction with functional nutrition testing.
Okay. I mean, I do know that a lot of people have spoken about nutrition as it relates to making sure that you can reduce cancer because some things do contribute to it. Um, but I didn't even know about this specific thing.
I've even heard about IV mistletoe therapy.
No, very uninformed on this stuff.
Hmm. There's some research for individuals to do for sure, and even their providers can take a deeper look at integrative oncology options.
So if that's the case, I guess my question to you ends up being, what can people do? I mean, I obviously don't think that it helps for them to get all of this information because then information overload, they get overstimulated and then might not help, but also they can't be uninformed and not have anything in their head. Um, so what do you typically recommend that people should be doing with that information?
Looking at what applies the most closely to their specific situation, for one thing, and doing a little research and finding out if there are some integrated medicine providers local to them or some that they can discuss it with.
Got it. So it's, I mean, information as it relates to the application they have for themselves, and then after that, just being able to speak it out, talk it out, rationalize with people.
Yeah, and that's what I've noticed is that in my own inpatient outpatient transition, that there were certain gaps that I was able to get my additional referrals from outpatient therapy, like the PTs and OTs at the clinic where I was outpatient first. Well, it was a support group for brain injury, and they had a therapeutic horseback riding instructor as a guest speaker, and that's how I got involved with that initially, where I was recovering from my first year in Northern Illinois with my parents, and then was able to move back home to Missouri and switched to a therapeutic riding stable close to me now. And there are group classes. I started out in private lessons. And
Mm,
so that was a referral from outpatient therapy in Illinois. And they also referred me to the neurofeedback clinic where I went. And then I was able to do my own research and just happened across a somatic movement provider who um, she had her own practice for a while and did some community events, and a poster for that at my Reiki provider's office was how I found her and found out that she was the facilitator of the local brain injury support group. And one of their guest speakers was a chiropractor. And from there, I got a list of local chiropractors and got established with mine. And then with functional neurology, there was a brain health summit online that I attended and got the idea to look up a functional neurology directory from there and found my current one in Missouri kind of local to me and brought him on as a guest speaker to the support group as well. So I've done a lot of connecting myself and also have gotten local referrals to neuromovement and additional myofascial release work. And more standard medicine providers and rehab centers need to know about these resources so they can recommend it to their clients. And I would like to be a part of getting the word out for the business that I've started since then.
no, of course. It sounds like relationships and advocacy are the two bedrocks of this.
Yeah.
Because that's where the connections and the referrals have happened. I mean, you went on a rabbit race of like this becoming what it's become.
Yeah. Yeah. I really take the gopher holes of brain injury recovery.
Oh, that's great. Because I think even with when it comes to like these medical anomalies, when it comes to this type of stuff, most people they take the first diagnosis or they take the first inkling statement, maybe the first one or two, and then they just kind of stop and then it's just whatever happens, happens. But it seems like you've taken like, 9, 10 steps in a direction where like a lot of your life has mapped out into a beautiful thing. because you aren't really satisfied or stopping after like the first or second try.
Yeah, I wanted to get to be as close to fully recovered as I can be. And things like I had to relearn how to read. I first realized that I couldn't at the rehab center where there were signs on the wall and looked at them and was trying to read and make sense of it and I couldn't. And that was really kind of scary for me since I had been such a strong reader before. And it was fun for me. And then it after a while turned into work and I've since lost patience for long hard copy books in print
Um, did you have issue with your vision?
since the injury, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I opted out of renewing my driver's license in 2019.
Got it. Because I know for me it was a lot of like memory. It was like vision for like the first year. It was
Hmm.
not so much on the like the reading level. I mean, I feel like maybe dyslexia came out of it. I'm not exactly sure because words and letters sometimes mix for me. But I hear what you're saying. Like I literally had to like redo a lot of those things. And also on my end, there's still because I don't know what part of the brain they operated on that like I had to like relearn walking and moving because I was disabled. Um,
Hmm.
but I will say that like I hear what you're saying because it's definitely a process you have
Yeah.
to be intentional about.
Yeah, I've had prisms in my glasses lenses, and I first got that prescription from a behavioral ophthalmologist and works with kids and vision and things like that mostly, although I have not seen a neuro-ophthalmologist yet. And my local ophthalmologist is okay for managing the prismatic level in the prescription. And so that's a piece that I don't know how much it would do for me at this point, although I'm thinking that I have some convergence issues with my eyes communicating together. And I've also had the post-brain injury spasticity that can frequently happen to people after a stroke, for instance. It was my lower left leg that would seize up and spasm, and it went on almost 24/7 for the better part of 6 to 8 months right after the injury, although it really only set in when I'd been home from the rehab center for a week and 6 weeks post-injury.
Mm, sheesh. I'm always just loving like the intentionality behind like what do you do after all this stuff happens, like after everything has a
Hmm.
and like because post anything that's not easy at all. I
No.
think people just say, oh, I mean, it's either not that deep or it's like they think that you are like uh never gonna be able to do anything. And I'm like,
Yeah,
why do you live on both extremes? Like there's no middle ground.
yeah, really. And if the rehab professionals were better trained in spotting spasticity or the potential for it early on, things could have been different. And
Mhm.
that's something that I picked up on at the American Congress of Rehabilitation Medicine conference in Chicago in October. And I went there with some others from the Seminole Spirit Support Group and the facilitator.
So it comes down to the training. Like it comes down
Yeah,
to how um because I mean if the professional that's supposed to help you out doesn't know anything, then
yeah.
that becomes a whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So, what would you say overall to encourage others in the way that you do? For instance, what's your wrap up sequence?
I mean, I think we play the victim a lot, and you are a testament of the fact that that doesn't get us anywhere. to be somebody that can work, move, talk, like advocate in such a level that like you are far ahead of anything that could have happened. I think about like what I've been able to do with like students and like professors, superintendent like around the country. And if you look at me 2018 when this all went down, or in your case a decade before, you just don't think it's possible. It's not gonna happen. Of course not. Like what? If a person who's like fine, decent from a health perspective can't do the things that you want to do, who are you to try? And my argument is you have to do it scared. You have to give it your best attempt. Speaking with power, advocating in that way, you need to give that attempt. So I would tell people like, try the thing. Try your best. We all we do is like do like these lackluster, half-hearted tries and attempts at things. It doesn't help. Like it doesn't work out. Like you don't try your best. And trying your best can be like looking up things with intention, reading what you need to know, and from there picking apart the things that are like relevant to you. And then like also storing in the back, they may not be relevant to you right now, but you have to be prepared for when it does happen. Like you should kind of know if this happens to you that if your doctor or your therapist, PT, OT, any otherwise, you kind of need to let them know, no, I know this because of this, that. And I would tell you, just try it out. Just see it. Because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll say this because my first my first conversation about this, I spoke to the medical professional and they're like, you seem fine based on like what we know, like you seem fine. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't feel fine. And I'm not one to like just panic and like scream to the hills something's wrong. But I don't know. I saw WebMD, saw Mayo Clinic. I could be wrong because they're the professional. However, I got enough research and I've intended enough to know, okay, something's up. I don't know what it is. Maybe you need to give me more Tylenol or maybe not. I don't know. And the person, she's like, okay, we can do a CT scan. I'm like, that works. Let's just see. Because if there's nothing, there's nothing. But if there's something, then at least you've looked into it. And that's when they found it. Like that's when they found the tumor. That's when they found what was happening. But if I never said anything, if I never did any of the research, if I haven't followed like the steps that you are outlining about what people need to do, it's like, how much do you care about your life? How much do you think you know what you're doing, but you don't know? Like, even as it relates to recovery, what are you doing? What is your plan? And the best part of it is now we have these tools where you don't really need to think on your own all of the plans. You just need to voice what you're feeling. And that's with the communication framework I have. A lot of people aren't communicating. Like they're not really just venting about, okay, this is what I'm going through. This is how I feel. This is what it is from my perspective. I need help. But if they don't get there, when they just go to people and just skip all those things and they're just like, I need help, people are not going to know what to do. Like doctors, they usually ask, what can I do for you today? You can't just say, I don't know, and just stand there all pretty and just be waiting for them to do something. Because that's not how it works. Like, but I think the advocacy piece, like you were mentioning, is very important. Like, what are you advocating for? Do you know what it is? Or can you at least have language for how you're feeling if you don't know for what you're going through? Because they can be able to, with their expertise, find out what's wrong, but they can't find out what's wrong if they don't know something is wrong. And you don't need to know what's wrong. You need to know that something is wrong. And I think for a lot of people, like in our community, it's like, something's up. Even if something isn't wrong, you feel something's weird. And I think you need to look at the weirdness and identify, is it a good weird or a bad weird? If it's a bad weird, talk to people that know what they're doing. And they could probably dismiss it or look into it more further, but you advocate it. And if it's a good weird, lead into that. What can be the personalization you offer others that makes you feel good? And maybe you can gel your weird with their weird and you guys can be weird together. But you have to really identify yourself, which is why I always tell people you need to essentially be the operations manager of yourself because only you know how you feel. Only you know how your brain is operating. All you know if your shoulder hurts, is it because like somebody bumped you or because you like fell down the stairs? Like no one knows but you. So if your brain's going through what they're going through, for me and you, I don't get migraines. Paige, I don't get migraines. So you're telling me that like I had a headache for essentially 3 to 5 months just straight. After that, having headaches for I was 23, so 22-ish years of no headaches, and then they just start compounding quickly. Everyone could be like, "Oh, it's not that serious. It's fine." I have to be the one to advocate and say something's up. This is a bad weird. I just don't know what it is because I'm not the professional, but you are. So all I can tell you is this is a bad weird. Let me give it to you and see what can happen. And if they recommend something, let's try it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm not, then at least I advocated for myself and something happened. So I think we just need to get better at being able to communicate that, figure out what's going on, and just figure out what kind of weird it is and work forward. Because
Yeah,
people are worth it.
mine happened out of the blue when, at least fortunately, I was still at my office with coworkers around to call an ambulance, and that I was more or less asymptomatic before that.
Hmm. That's a
And
key one.
yeah, and all of this ditto for starting a business when, well, standard employment, going back to work isn't working so well for me, even in the first year or two after injury. So I established Choose Greater Health in 2023 and seeing where it goes.
Nice. And I think that's another thing that I love that you've done is it's like I don't know if I could go back to what normal is. So let me just create something that can help others. And it
Mm-hmm.
flourishes, it blesses people. It's just a beautiful thing. Like I think people, and that again, advocacy piece. It's like, okay, I can't do this. So what can you do? Because you can do something.
Yeah.
But
Also applied for disability benefits in 2018, got them in 2019, and working out a way to balance that with the business.
that's good. So I guess now the real conversation is with people, what do they want to do? And are they gonna let their diagnosis, are they gonna let their dreams die because they think that they can't because of X, Y, or Z? It's like, I don't know. I don't think you should. You'd be surprised what you're capable of. You won't know what you're capable of because you think you're not enough, or you think you're far gone because of age, because of what you've been through, because of what people are probably telling you. It's like at the end of the day, you can only be recommended or prescribed certain things. You have to choose to take that like medication. You have to choose to put yourself in the position where you want to put. You have to make a choice. So for me and for you and what you're saying, it's like, like what are you choosing to do today? Like, you know, the injury isn't your fault. It's not something that you could have really controlled. But now what? What happened before
Yeah,
is up to you, but what happens after is. So it's like,
yeah,
what do you do with that?
yeah. Even the more difficult aspects of navigating the business are still more worth it to me than just employed by someone else in my previous experience of it.
You know, no, I think that's a beautiful part because I know for me it's like, you add value to people that you want to add value to. You guys connect, you partner, you work together, but you don't want to let your dream die just simply because you want to get a paycheck. You don't want to let your aspirations. It's just like you're not just supposed to be some cornered person not really doing anything but, dealing with things. I would also say that also ties into like, social benefits, um, because those benefits can be a crutch for you in such a way where you may not want to um, do anything. And there are people that, can just make the most of what they can, and I'm not discrediting that. I would actually say I'm looking at the people that know that they can do a lot more. And they're settling for a sub sector, like they're submitting to this. They're submitting to that check. They're submitting to the boss. They're submitting to a version of themselves they don't want because they think that they're not enough because they've gone through this injury or they've gone through the struggle that they've gone through. And it's like, you can do it. Like, of course you can. The only difference is you're not doing it right now.
I have
So
to
just
say,
try.
both the National Disability Institute and Synergy's work have been very helpful to me, and certainly recently with the Igniting Ideas Business Accelerator.
That's good. Because like that literally becomes, like you said, it ignites, it's able to ignite you to the next step. I mean, in their name, that's what it is. But like also like this, like talking about igniting things and you know the acceleration, it's something that people don't understand. It starts with a step. Like just go and try it out. You have literally just poured into all these like resources. And it's like people don't know what it's possible, but they don't move. And it's up to you.
Yeah, and also through the National Disability Institute and the disability-owned small business convening, I found connected ghostwriting, and I've been working with the founder of that to get a book proposal ready to put on the author crowdfunding site Publishizer.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been working on the book for a while, and it's interviews with the integrated medicine providers who have been key players in my recovery.
So when are they thinking that you'll complete or get to the next stage of the book?
I would like to have a lot of it done and pre-launch events by spring, and specifically around May of 26 when it'll be 10 years post-injury.
Okay. So like in like the tours, you would be saying that it's like it's 10 years post injury and look at what has happened and what I've been able to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And I already did 4 shows last March for both brain injury and blood clot awareness month.
You did 4 shows?
4 of these shows, yes, one each
Wow.
week.
Okay.
That was my awareness month thing. Yep.
So is that something that you typically do based on like in that month specifically? So I imagine in March again you would do it for that.
Yeah, and something relating to the book.
Got it.
And what else will you do in the next year to continue to inspire students and others?
Well, I know right now I am uh finalizing the marketing for a course that we're going to have roll out for Speak with Power. So that is a course that I'm going to be giving to a lot of schools because students need to be able to advocate, communicate, like be able to perform at the highest level they possibly can. And as it relates to things, I'm also going to be speaking at the trauma-informed, relationship-focused educator conference in Chaddock in March. I have a few schools throughout the year that we're going to be really speaking with, coordinating with. So I'm going to be at a few places. I was at the University of Kentucky, George Mason University, and Fordham University speaking this past week. So we're just kind of to like wrap it up and get it going. But I'm really looking forward to that, just being able to tell people, hey, like do the thing, work it out. You are more than capable. So now you have to commit. You have to choose, you have to do. And what I've gone through, what people have gone through, like whether it is a brain injury, whether it is certain medical situations, or maybe they're just in their heads too much. It's like you're more than capable. You just have to do it. Like that you have to go for it. So I'm looking forward to that.
Sounds good. And which platforms can everyone connect with you on?
So I would say Instagram, LinkedIn, and my website. So my LinkedIn is my full name with a junior because I'm a junior. My Instagram is to Norberto Troncoso. So I don't know if there's a spelling, but to that. And then my website is www.troncosoventures.com. Looking forward to connecting. And again, I would love to also send like the resources about the AI agent because that stuff is a lifesaver. But yeah,
Sounds good. Thanks for a great talk.
absolutely. Thank you for having me.